Oh gosh, do I say it?
Yeah, say it,
Go
Haskell.
for it.
Let's
Just
go.
everyone in the world. There's some notable Montreal radio personalities that are constantly on this, but Kotkaniemi or Tkachuk fourth overall. I mean, that's tough because KK's got a lot of talent. So, do you
Mhm.
think that the Canadiens made the right move picking KK over Tkachuk?
Do I think they made the right move? That is a really tough question because it's still so early in their career. Um, when you look, I'll just throw a comparison out. Okay, Taylor Hall and Tyler Seguin, were compared, and Seguin was 2 and Hall was 1. And when I look at a couple years down the road, maybe 4 or 5 years down the road, I'm probably taking Tyler Seguin. Just a personal opinion. So um, it's still so early. KK is still so young. Yeah, Tkachuk is doing great, and obviously at this point it looks like, well, imagine how he'd look on the Montreal Canadiens roster. But I don't think you can look at that early. I truly believe in KK. I think he's a tremendous player. Like I said 100 times, he shoots the puck as good as anybody I've ever seen. He's so young. He's going to be a big body. Um, it's just a really hard one to answer because I want to see KK in about 3-4 years with 2 really elite wingers, and then I can see what his real potential is. Yeah,
But I also
KK,
want to make the point on if you take a look at the roster that Tkachuk is playing on compared to the roster that KK is playing on too, like you got to compare the two as well. Of course, if KK was playing on the first line or whatever, like Tkachuk is playing right now, obviously
Right.
he'd be getting more minutes and more opportunities and such.
Right.
So you can't go ahead and do like a 1-for-1 comparison of, oh yeah, he's definitely better. Like you said,
Right.
it's going to be a long-term project, and down the road, like KK's been playing with a lot more confidence this year, and you can see it. Even like you said, he doesn't realize how good his shot is. As soon as he starts to shoot more and use his body, he's going to be insane.
Yeah, and he will. It's going to happen. It's going to happen to me. He's got such a big toolbox, and he's still so young, and he just doesn't have that brash personality that a Tkachuk. I mean, I don't know Tkachuk off the ice, but you see the way he plays. He's just very brass, and like we just talked about, Deeks, he has no fear. Where KK is still a young kid, still trying to figure out his confidence. Like I said, was probably mishandled last year, the way things have gone, and a little bit this year. But that's beside the fact. I think
KK come in too early, Dale.
In my opinion, yeah. I didn't follow that draft. I'm not watching all the prospects around. But when the whole hockey world kind of sees that was a little bit of a jump where Montreal took him, and then he comes in and plays right away, I think you got to consider what happened. I didn't see training camp, so I can't tell you how good he really was in my own personal opinion. But I just, it's so hard for a true 18-year-old to come into the NHL and play. And that's like where my reserve comes with Caulfield is you would hate to kids are just really fragile at that age. And the league is hard enough. And you get put in a situation in Montreal where there's so much pressure as a young guy, and social media today. If you're struggling, it's all you're going to see. People shredding you on your phone, people shredding you on TV. And that can be really, really hard and draining on your life. And for a young kid that hasn't been through that, it's really hard to deal with. So I think KK's finding his way. And man, I'm a huge believer in him. And I was talking to Barb about this morning, that I think this year's been a little bit of up and down year for him and Suzuki, but going forward, give these guys some elite wingers and a little bit of time, and they're going to be huge contributors to the success of the Montreal Canadiens.